All right, let's talk about properties of isosceles triangles and properties of equilateral triangles. Well, if you guys remember, the definition of an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has at least two congruent sides, or two equal sides. So let's go over some examples here and see some properties. Isosceles triangle. Let's say that we got this triangle ABC, and we know that side AB and AC are congruent to each other because of these markings over here. So we know that AB is congruent, has the same measurement as AC. Well, if this side is congruent to this side, then this base angle here, B, is also gonna be congruent to this angle, C. So angle B is also congruent to angle C, and that's the property here that I'm saying. So you have two sides that are equal to each other, then the two angles here, right, are also gonna be congruent to each other. And it works the other way around. We got over here that angle B, right? Angle B is congruent to angle C, have the same measurement. That's what? Then that means that the segment or side AB is gonna be congruent, have the same measurement as the side AC. Pretty simple, right? Now let's look at another property here. So let's say that we got another isosceles triangle, ABC, and this is the angle here, right? Angle B. If I bisect the angle B, bisect means cutting the angle in half. So I cut it in half. When I cut it in half, boom, I'm gonna form over here a point D. Well, when you cut the angle in half or bisect the angle, right? The BD, the segment BD, is gonna be perpendicular to AC, the whole thing here. And this means perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular means when we have two lines that are intersecting each other at 90 degrees. So this is going to be 90 and this is going to be 90. So if you're bisecting an isosceles triangle, by the side here, right? Then it's going to have perpendicular lines and they're going to form a 90-degree angle because perpendicular lines form 90-degree angles. And also, very important, if you're bisecting this angle, you're also bisecting this side. So in this case over here, AD is gonna be equal to DC. You're also bisecting the side. So you're bisecting the angle, you're bisecting the side, AC right here, right? And you're creating perpendicular lines 90 degree and 90 degree. So there's a lot of information there. So AD is going to be the same thing as CD. So a lot of information. Now let's talk about equilateral triangles. An equilateral triangle is basically a triangle that has equal sides and also equal angles. So equilateral triangle is also an equiangular triangle. So equilateral, equal sides, equiangular, equal angles. So every equilateral triangle is also equiangular. So that means that if you have an equilateral triangle here, well, that means that, hey, this angle and this angle and this angle are gonna be the same. So in this case, 180 divided by 3 will be 60, 60, 60. And if this is 60, 60, and 60, it means that, hey, this, and this side, and this side, and this side are gonna be congruent to each other. Simple. That's the property of equilateral triangles. So now, knowing all these properties, we can now work some problems, okay? and see if you guys can do it or not. So let's take a look at this one. Let's make it bigger. Let's see if I can move it down. See if I can, there you go. That's better. Now, I want you guys to pause the video and try to see if you're able to figure out what is the measurement of angle X and the measurement of angle Y if this angle over here is 110 degrees. Right? Pause it and work it out. All right. So again, we got an isosceles triangle. So that means if this side is equal to that side, that means that this angle is equal to that angle. So we know that X is equal to Y. So I can make a substitution. So in this case over here, I know that 110 plus X plus Y, well, all of these angles, if you guys remember, all of the angles inside a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Now, I have two variables, right? I need to have only one variable, but we know that X is equal to Y, so I can do a substitution. So I can write it down as A. I know that X is equal to Y, so I can do the substitution right there. And what we got is 110 plus X, because X is equal to Y. I did the substitution. Is equal to 180 degrees. So 110 plus 2x equals to 180 degrees. 2x equals to 70. Right? And divide both sides by 2. Should be getting x is equal to 35 degrees. But guess what? X is also equal to y. So that means that y is also equal to 35 degrees. Right? All right, so let's take a look at another one. Let's move it up. Pause the video, see if you're able to figure out what's the value of X. All right. Again, we got these two angles are equal to each other, so that means that this side is equal to that one right there. So now we can set up an equation. X is equal to 2x minus 6, right there. So you can subtract x from both sides of the equation, and that will be x and x. That will be 0 equals to x minus 6. You can add 6 to both sides of the equation, and you got x equals to 6. Simple, all right? Let's go and do another one. You got two similar triangles. They're saying that this side is equal to that side. It's an isosceles triangle, and this side over here is equal to that one. These two triangles are not equal to each other, all right? They are called similar triangles. That's gonna be for later chapters. But we got enough information to find out what is x and what is y. See, pause the video, see if you're able to do it. All right, so now, what do we know? We got an isosceles triangle here. So if this is 55, this is also 55. So adding these three angles together should be adding to 180 degrees, so I can find out what is x. So x plus 55 plus 55 degrees is gonna be equal to 180 degrees, right? So that will be x plus that's 110, yeah, 110 equals to 180. Subtracting 110 from both sides should give you x equals to 70 degrees. Right? So that means that this is 70 degrees. Well, I know this is going to be 70. Why I know this is going to be 70? Because vertical angles are congruent to each other. So now, and also I know that this is going to be y. So let me draw this triangle again so you guys can see it. The small one, right? I got this triangle. This is going to be y. And this is going to be y because, again, this is an isosceles triangle, so these two angles are equal to each other or congruent to each other. This is 70, so that one is 70, so that means that this is 70. We know that vertical angles are congruent to each other. And now I can, write me an equation with the y variables here. So y plus y plus 70, and let me move it up over here, right there, is equal to 180 degrees. So 2y plus 70 equals to 180 degrees. 2y equals to 110. And y is equal to 55. And that was obvious, okay, because it's going to be equal to this angle over here, right? It's pretty obvious. You got basically two parallel lines, and you got alternate interior angles, But again, I wanted to do all the work so you guys see it. Please, I hope this is, please don't forget to do the assignments, okay? And I hope this was helpful for you guys.